In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the front bumper impact absorber on this Ford Escape. This is going to be behind the front bumper. Let's get into it. We're going to remove this cover. Just use a trim tool, take the push pins out. And take these push pins out as well. And grab this panel and just flip it upside down out of the way. We're going to remove these bolts. Use a 10mm socket. Underneath here, we're going to take all these screws out. Use a 7mm socket. Using a trim tool, there's a push pin right here. Pop those out on each side. On the inner fender well, we're going to take these screws out. Use a 7mm socket. Using a trim tool, take these push pins out. Just pop those out. And pop this push pin out. Same with the trim tool. Oh, sometimes they break. That's okay. Just get new ones. Pop this trim piece off, just pull it back. If you need to, you can use a trim tool. It's just clipped in. We're not going to take it off completely, but just pop it out a little bit. There we go. There's a connector right here for the sensor. Just disconnect the connector. Push down on the tab, slide that off, and push that wire in. And the inner fender well, just pull that out. And we just pop it down a little bit, just so you can access inside here. There's 3 screws going in this way. I'm going to take those out. Use a 10mm socket. Take that out, and the other 2. Using a trim tool, We'll just pry this down. There is 2 clips that you may have to release from the inside. These are broken on this vehicle. You can use some needle nose pliers or even a straight blade screwdriver and just release the clips underneath here. Pry those down and out. And just grab the bumper and just give it a quick tug just to release it from underneath the headlight. Then we're going to do all the same stuff on the opposite side. Using a T30 socket, take these screws out. Good. You just grab the bumper cover. I'll just slide it off. Just pull it out. And there's a connector right here. You want to disconnect the connector. Just push down on the tab. Separate the connector. This piece right here, we want to get this out of the way. We're going to disconnect this cable here. Just pop up. And just pull that out, just like that, just where the cable is. Just to get a little more room, we'll take the engine cover off. Just pull up underneath. Pop that out of the way. Take this cover off, use an 8mm socket. Take these screws out. The screws are just going to stay with the cover. More down there. Disconnect the connector for the mass airflow sensor. Set that aside. I'm going to use an 8mm socket, loosen up this worm clamp down here. Just slide it down there. Alright, that's loose. I'm just using a straight blade screwdriver just to pry this off. You can use a pick. Push that out of the way. I'm going to pop this cover off right here. And this pipe. Couple of clips holding this in. Just use a straight blade screwdriver, pull that out. Just grab the box and slide it up. Here we go. Just pop that up. Take that out. Remove this bracket, use a 10mm socket, take these bolts out. One right there, and on the other side. And there's a couple push pins on the front. Just use a trim tool and just pop these push pins out. And pull the bracket off. Disconnect the connector for the headlight. Just push on the tab, slide it back. And follow this wire back. We'll disconnect the connector there. Push down on the tab, slide that off. I'm going to remove the screws. Use a T30 socket. There's a screw right here. Take that out. And remove this one. Same T30 socket. And up here. Grab the headlight assembly, lift up, slide it out. And you can do the same with the other side. On the side here, there's 2 push pins. You want to just use a trim tool, get behind, and just pop those out. And down below, pop that out. Just slide that shield out. Then you want to do the same on the other side. And these push pins down here, take these out on both sides. Just use a trim tool. Using a trim tool, there's a bracket back here. Just want to lift up. Separate that bracket on the back. It's just going to stay in the back there. Use a 10mm socket. Take these front bolts out. There's clips on the side here. Take 2 prying tools. I'm just using a trim tool for the bottom. Just get under here, pry up, and then just a straight blade screwdriver, pry down, and then you just want to unlock that. And then you can just pull it out, just like that. And you're going to do the same on the other side. Then you got to twist this up, slide that out the rest of the way. Take these bolts out, use a 13mm socket. Take these 2 bolts out on the side, use a 10mm socket. And that's fender is separate from the bracket. And you want to do the same on the other side. Take the hood prop, we're going to put that back in place, and you're going to have to support the hood in a safe manner. Using a 13mm socket, take these bolts out on both sides. There's a wire retainer right here. Just want to push that down, separate that from the bracket. You can use a trim tool, push that down. The washer reservoir, just pop this bracket off. Just get under there with the trim tool, separate that. That's good. You can see there's a coolant hose that goes along here, and there's some retainers that are attached. So you want to pop those out. There's one more right there. And that's disconnected from the bracket. Disconnect the connector for the hood latch. Just push on the tab, slide that off. There's some wire retainers. Just use a trim tool, get underneath. There we go. And just go along, follow the wires. Find the other retainers. You can pop all those out. You can see where there's an impact connector right here. Just push down on the tab, slide that off. And then one more retainer back here. Just pull those wires through. Just use a trim tool. Pop that off. On the other side, there's another impact connector. Just push down on the tab, slide that to the side. Now take the cable out for the hood release. Just pop that to the side, and then that just slides out. I'm just using a trim tool. If you need to move the pop rod. Set that aside. Just grab the bracket, slide it up. And then the washer fluid bottle, you just got to slide it out a little bit. And it comes right out. You're going to want a drain bucket underneath the washer reservoir. And we're going to take the pump off. Just pull this out. Just slide it up. You can leave all the hoses attached and the wires. And just drain the washer fluid. I'm using a trim tool, just pop the wire retainer off the reservoir. There we go. Now using a 10mm socket, take these bolts out. This bolt. Take the reservoir out, set it aside. There's 2 bolts that go up from this bracket here. You're going to use a 10mm socket, take those bolts out. This one right here, you need a longer extension to go up through to access that bolt. Take that out, and then this other one here. That off, that's going to be separated right there. On the other side there's a bracket right here. We just need to remove this bolt, use a 8mm socket. That will just stay there, that's fine. There's a connector right here. We'll just use a trim tool, just pop the retainer out. You can see a little higher up, it's another retainer, just holding the wire on. And then up top, pop that one off. Move the wires out of the way. And there's 2 bolts. Again, you're gonna need a longer extension for this one, and then the shorter one in the back. 10mm socket. Pull that out. And the other one. And pull that bolt out. That'll be separated as well. Now I'm going to remove these nuts up here and down there. Use a 13mm socket. Take those off. This top one, I'm just going to leave it on a few threads just so it doesn't fall. Then take the other ones out. There's 2 on the inside. And do the same on the other side. Now all the nuts are out. Just take this one off. And just grab it. Slide it. Work around the wires and it comes right out. Just slide this around the wires. Go over the studs. Make sure you do the same on the other side. And take the nuts. Get the nuts started. And get the bottom one started. You want to line this up as best as you can. And same on the other side. Good, and tighten the other ones down. Now we'll torque these to 18 foot-pounds. Put these bolts in from the bracket underneath. Get those started. And get the bolts started on the other side. And get those started. Snug those down, and we'll tighten these down. All right, those are tight. Take the wiring harness, line that up, push that in place, push the retainers in, and the bolt. Snug that down. Take the washer fluid tank, get that lined up, put the bolts in. Now the pump, push that into the grommet, push that back, push the hoses into the retainers and the wire right there. That's good. Take this bracket and get it in position. Where the washer tank is, there is a area that needs to slide on. And go over the radiator. And get the bolts started. Get those started and get the fenders lined up on the sides. I'm going to get these all started before you tighten them down. Do the same on the other side. Now tighten those down. Make sure it looks like it lines up. You can see where the paint marks were from where it was before. Tighten those all down. Now I'm just going to use the hood prop. Put that back. Take away my temporary hood props. Take this hose, get it lined up in all the brackets. Right there. Push that back into the radiator. That's good. We have these connectors here. Plug those in. And plug that connector in. Now the cable for the hood latch, slide that into the brackets. Now we're going to install this panel. Take this one, this is going to go on the inside. Line that up in a minute. Then you're going to reach through. Once that's lined up, grab that other panel on the inside. Get that lined up. And now you're going to have to just turn these halfway, push that in, and then lock it the rest of the way. There we go. And grab that in the back. Just make sure that clips in place. That's good. And clip that in there and there. Put these bolts in. Snug those down. And the push pins on the side, push those in on both sides. These shields on the side. Get that lined up. Push those in. Just do the same on the other side. Now take the lights. While they're out, we'll just connect the connectors. Get that lined up. Lock that in place. Line that up. There we go. And get the screws started. One right there. And one right here. And tighten those down. If it doesn't line up quite right, you might have to loosen them up and adjust accordingly. And we'll do the same on the other side. Push the retainers back in place. There's a wire retainer right here. Push that one in. That's good. Take this bracket, line it up. Take the bolts, get those started. I'll snug those down. And these push pins right in the front there. Same on this side. I'll take the air box. Just slide this in place. Put the air duct, get that lined up. The push pins, or the grommets. Push those down. That's good. This pipe is going to go inside here. I'm going to tighten down the worm clamp. All right, snug that down. Take the connector, plug that in. This hose is going to go down below on the airbox. Just get that to line up. Push that in. That's good. And connect it out here. Now take the air filter, put the air filter on, and put the cover on. Get that lined up. And we'll tighten these down. Take the engine cover, line that up, lock it down. Now the cable for the hood release, just slide that in place and push that down just so the cable's locked in. We'll just leave that like that for now. Now we're going to connect the connector, line that up, click it in place. There's a little retainer right here. You can slide it on the retainer. Right there. And slide the bumper in place. Just on the front of the bumper, just push in just to lock it in place. Now just under the headlight, you want to push that panel in place. Get this lined up with the fender. That's good. I'll put these bolts in. Those are tight. Because the inner fender well, this part of that popped off, we have to remove some of this trim a little bit. There's a couple clips on the back side of here. If you take an 8mm socket, you can get underneath the clips. You just push them, and that releases the clip. You might have to wiggle it a little bit. There we go, pops right out. Here's one right here. I can just show you what the clip looks like. It looks like that. Then if you push the socket over, it just squeezes the clip. And this can pop out a little bit. I'll just slip this in place. That's good. Before we push the trim back in place, connect the connector. All right, that's good. Push it down, that's good. And you want to take the push pins, get those started, push those in. there. And push that one in. Take the screws, get those all started. I'm going to tighten those down. Then you're going to do the same on the other side. Underneath, we're going to put these screws in. Tighten those down. Tighten those up. Put all these screws in. Get these started. Same over here. There's one more. And we'll tighten those down. And take the screws up top, get these started. Tighten those down. Flip this panel over. Make sure it's still attached. The cable's still attached. That's good. Push pins. And push those back in.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.